Hello everyone, welcome to Helm of Science. So I hope all of you are doing well and studying hard since you are uh, preparing well for your joint entrance examinations and also the board exams. So today we will discuss an important part of chemistry, that is the periodic trends in the properties of elements. This is important for your competitive exams as well as your board exams. Okay, so this part has to be understood properly. Okay, so what do you mean by these periodic trends in properties? So as you know that periodic table is a systematic arrangement of the elements according to their periods and groups. So every element in the groups or the periods have some definite properties. Okay, so they are like ionic radii, their atomic radius, ionization energy, electron affinity, electronegativity. So these are all the parameters which differs in case of different types of elements along their period and also down the group. So today we will start off with some of their properties. So we will at first start with atomic size or atomic radius. Atomic size, or we can call it as atomic radius. Okay. So what is meant by atomic size or atomic radius? It is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell containing the electron. Okay, that means if you consider an atom, if you consider an atom, and if this is the nucleus, suppose this is the nucleus, then what will be the atomic radius? It is the center. I mean, it is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell of the electron. Suppose this is the outermost shell. Okay, so the distance from the center to the outermost shell of an atom, this will be your atomic radius. So this will be defined as atomic radius. Okay, this is your atomic radius. So here what we have to study the trends in the atomic radius along the period and down the group. How will they vary? So at first we will see variation of atomic radii or atomic size along the period. Along the period, how are they? How will they vary along the period? Okay, so when we move from left to right across a period, the atomic size or the atomic radii progressively decreases. Progressively decreases. Okay. Now, what is the reason behind it? What is the reason? The reason is as we move from left to right across the periodic table, the atomic number increases. Atomic number increases. Atomic number increases means the number of protons increases. That is, the number of positively charged protons increases as we move from left to right across the periodic table. Okay, but the principal quantum number does not change if we consider one field. Okay, like if we consider carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Okay, if this boron as well. So as we move from left to right, what we can see that there is no change in PQN. PQN remains same, that is principal quantum number, but their atomic numbers are increasing. Okay, that means the outermost shell of each of the element is same. But what is happening as the atomic number is increasing, the number of positively charged protons are increasing. So now what will happen in case of suppose fluorine? Fluorine will contain highest number of protons. So this fluorine will attract the outermost electrons very strongly. they will have very strong attraction. Why? Because they are having the highest number of protons among all these elements: boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. So what will happen? The outermost electrons, as they are getting pulled by the inner protons, so what will happen? Their shell or their sizes will be decreased. While for boron, there is the number of protons is less, so it will not be able to attract the outermost electrons to that extent as fluorine is doing. So for boron, the attraction towards outermost electron, attraction towards outermost electron is less, okay, due to lesser number of protons. And here the attraction is high. Attraction is high, okay, due to higher number of protons. That is why when you move from left to right across the period in a periodic table, the atomic size or the atomic radius tend to decrease. Okay, this is the reason for the decrease in atomic radius as we move along the period. Okay, now we will see how they vary down the group. Down the group. Okay, let's take one example. Suppose fluorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine. Okay, okay. I'm just considering the outermost shell electron. Okay, for fluorine, very sorry, for fluorine, it is 2p5, the outermost shell. For fluorine, it is 3p5. This is 4p5. This is 5p5, and so on. So here you can see as we move down the group, what is happening? The principal quantum number increases. That is, the number of shells increases. Okay, the number of shells increases. So if I consider fluorine, suppose this is the nucleus of fluorine, and the outermost shell is like this. And for iodine, okay, for fluorine again I'm drawing. Suppose for fluorine it is like this, and suppose for iodine, if this is the nucleus, then this is suppose iodine. So what we can observe from here is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell gradually increases. Okay, if this is the radius of iodine, this is radius of fluorine, this is radius of fluorine, then what we can say from here? We can easily say that the radius of iodine is highest, followed by radius of, it will be bromine, then will be followed by chlorine, and then it will be followed by fluorine. Okay, but on the contrary, there is another point that we also have to keep in mind, that with the increase in number of shells, that means the atomic number is also increasing. Atomic number also increases. So the number of protons also increases like before. So now the protons will also try to pull the outermost electrons to a larger extent in case of iodine. So on the basis of this point, radius of iodine should have least size, isn't it? But here what happens? The first reason, that is the increase in PQM, increase in principal quantum number, this predominates over the increase in atomic number. Okay, principal quantum number predominates over the increase in atomic number. So as a result, what happens? There occurs a gradual increase in atomic radius as we move down the group. Okay, now there is a graphical representation so as to show you how do the atomic radius change along the period and down the group. Okay, so suppose this is your atomic radii. Okay, this is in picometers. This is your atomic number Z. This goes the same way. This is atomic number Z, and this is your atomic radii PM. Okay, now first one I will discuss about across the period. This is across the period, and this is down the group. Okay, so how will the graph look like? Across the period, we know the atomic size gradually decreases. So the points will be somewhat like this. Just see how am I showing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another one. Suppose this is lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and so on. Okay, so as you can see, the trend in the periodic property, that means the atomic radius, it will decrease like this. Okay, it goes on decreasing. This is along the period, across the period. While down the group, what is happening? See, if I consider the alkali metals, that is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, you will find the graph is looking like this. Suppose it is starting from here. This is 3 atomic number. Okay, just mark it like this: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, and the atomic radii is also like 50, 100, and so on. So you'll be able to do this anyway. I'm just trying to make you understand about the periodic trend. So this is lithium, sodium. This is potassium, rubidium, cesium. So the plot looks like this. That means it goes on increasing. Okay, it goes on increasing as we move down the group. Okay, so this is the trend in their atomic radius across the period and down the group as well. Okay, next we will move on to the ionic radii. The next trend will be ionic radii. Ionic radius or ionic radii is defined as the effective distance from the center of nucleus to the point up to which it exerts its influence on the electron cloud. Like this is almost same like that of atomic radius. Okay, so ionic radii, that means it deals with the radius of radii of cations and anions. Okay, it is concerned with the radius of cations and anions, right? So we will see first of all the variation across a period, right? First of all, for cations, we will see it for cations. Now, for cations, as we move from left to right along the period, the radii of the cations will decrease progressively. The radii, ionic radii, will decrease progressively. The reason is same, due to increase in atomic number, that is increase in number of protons, increase in number of protons. That means the number of protons here will increase. So as the number of protons are increasing, what will happen? The magnitude of nuclear charge will increase, and as a result, the protons will now attract the outermost electrons with much stronger force. Hence, its size will go down. So if I consider Na plus, Mg2 plus, and aluminium 3 plus, if you see here, all these three ions are isoelectronic. Isoelectronic means they are having the same number of electrons. Iso means same, electronic means they are having the same number of electrons. All of them are having 10 electrons. If you see here, all of them are having 10 electrons. Okay. But since for sodium, we know there are total 11 protons. For magnesium, there are 12 protons. And for aluminium, there are 13 protons. So it is quite obvious that 13 protons will have stronger attraction towards the outermost electrons, and least attraction will be for 11 protons. So automatically the atomic ionic radii will follow this order. That means as we move from left to right across a period, the ionic radii will decrease. Okay. For anions, what will be their nature? For anions as well, on moving from left to right, the radii of isoelectronic anions decrease progressively due to the increase in the number of protons. Here also the same case, N3 minus, suppose we are considering N3 minus, O2 minus, and F minus. Okay, all are having equal number of electrons. That is why they are isoelectronic. But in case of nitrogen, there are 7 protons. For oxygen, there are 8 protons, and for fluorine, there are 9 protons. And these three are having 10 electrons. So it is obvious that 9 protons will attract the 10 electrons of the outermost electrons much in a much stronger way as compared to that of oxygen and nitrogen. So the ionic radii will follow the order, the same order as that of their cations. Okay. Now, if I talk about variation down the group, how will they vary down the group? For cations, what will happen? On moving from top to bottom, that is moving down a group, what will happen? The principal quantum number increases. Principal quantum number will increase. That means the number of shells will also increase. So distance between nucleus and outermost shell or outermost electrons will also increase. So what will happen? They will not be able to attract the electrons that much. That means hence the ionic radii also increases. If I consider the alkali metals like the radius of Li plus, okay, radius of Na plus, radius of K plus, Rb plus, Cs plus. Okay, if I consider these ions, then as we see that moving down the group, what is happening? The principal quantum number is increasing. So cesium will have the highest ionic radii because it has the largest number of shells. So the attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell will be lowest for cesium plus. So the ionic radii will follow this order. lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, silver. This will be the order of ionic radii. Okay, this is very important. Okay. This part is important, right? Next, we will discuss about anions. For anions, same thing will carry on here. For anions also, the radius of ions will be increased as we move down the group. That means, suppose R of F minus, R of Cl minus, R of Br minus, R of I minus. Then what will happen? The radius, ionic radius, will look like this, simply because of the fact that for I minus, for iodine, the principal quantum number is highest, so the number of shells will also be highest, and as a result, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell is highest. Okay, that is why for anions also the atomic, ionic radii increases as we move down the group. So this is the trend in the ionic radii. Okay, this is the trend in their ionic radii. Next, we will discuss about their ionization enthalpy. Okay, next we will discuss about ionization enthalpy. What is ionization enthalpy? Ionization enthalpy is the amount of energy that is required to remove the most loosely bound electron from the valence shell of an isolated gaseous atom. Okay, that means, suppose if we consider one isolated gaseous atom M. Okay, so the amount of energy that we have to give here, suppose this is delta H, so that the outermost electron is vanished. That means it has been removed to form M plus. This is a gaseous cation. Okay, and this electron is lost from M. So this particular energy, that is the amount of energy that is required to remove the loosely bound electron from the valence shell, this is called the IE, or we can say it as IP. We can also call it as ionization energy or ionization potential. Okay, so this amount of energy is called ionization energy or ionization potential, right? Now we will see how will this ionization energy vary across the period and down the group, right? So variation of IE across a period, right? So for representative elements, that is for S and P block elements, what we will observe? We will observe that the IE value increases across the period. Okay, what is the reason behind that? Reason is, since we move from left to right across the period, the atomic number increases. Atomic number increases, isn't it? So since atomic number is increasing, that means what is happening? The amount of nuclear charge also increases simultaneously. Okay, that means nuclear charge increases, and we have already seen that size will go down, size will decrease. That means what? The valence shell electrons now are more and more tightly held by the nucleus. That means as the nucleus is close to the outermost shell, that means what will happen? They will have very strong attraction towards the nucleus. Now, if you have to remove an electron from this shell, if you have to remove, suppose, this electron from this shell, what you have to do? You have to apply very high amount of energy, because these electrons are very tightly bound to the nucleus because of their small size. So as a result, what is happening? The ionization energy is very high as you move from left to right across the period. Okay, because we have to apply high amount of energy in order to ionize them, right? Understood? So this is the logic behind it. Now there is an anomaly about it. Okay, let me just draw the graph, then you will be able to understand what I'm trying to tell. Suppose this is IE, electron volt, okay, and this is your atomic number, that is Z, right? Just mark it, you can mark it the atomic numbers here, okay, and the ionization energies as well. Okay, now what we will observe here, suppose 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and suppose here it is 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. Now what we will observe, see, very carefully, just a minute. So for lithium, suppose here it is lithium, next is beryllium. So from lithium to beryllium, what will happen? The ionization energy or ionization potential will increase. Now see what will happen. From lithium to beryllium, it is increasing, but from beryllium to boron, it will decrease. Again, in carbon, it will increase. Okay. And nitrogen, it will also increase. But from nitrogen to oxygen, it will again decrease. And for fluorine and neon, it will go on increasing. So if I join it by a line, straight line, what we will see, it is moving like this. Okay, so this is the trend. Let me just write down the elements. Lithium, this is beryllium, this is boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. So the question is, why is there, why the, I mean, the ionization energy has reduced here from beryllium to boron. It should increase as the atomic number is increasing. Similarly, for this case also, why the ionization potential or ionization energy is decreasing here? So we have to study about it. So our first question is I1, that is ionization energy of beryllium is greater than boron. Why? Why is that so? So for this, what we have to do, we have to draw the, we have to represent the electronic configurations. So for beryllium, what is the electronic configuration of beryllium? It is 1s2, 2s2. And for boron, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Boron is having atomic number 5, beryllium is having 4. So as you can see here that for beryllium, the s orbital is completely filled. This s orbital is completely filled. That means to remove an electron from this orbital, s orbital, you will have to apply huge amount of energy, because s orbital is full-filled, and we know that full-filled or half-filled orbitals are very stable. That means to remove an electron from a stable orbital, you have to apply very high amount of energy in order to make it 1s2, 2s1. So this will require very high amount of energy. Suppose this is delta H1. While for boron, you can see only one electron is present in 2p orbital. So if boron releases one of its 2p electron, it will gain this stable inert gas. It will gain the fulfilled S configuration, isn't it? So if I consider it as delta H2, then this process will occur very easily. So we can say that delta H1 is very high as compared to delta H2. Okay, delta H1 will require very high amount of energy to remove the electron. That is the reason why the ionization energy of beryllium is greater than that of boron. Okay, similar is the case for nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen 7, oxygen 8. Write down the electronic configuration, you will understand it by yourselves. 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. This is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So here you can see nitrogen, the p orbital is exactly half filled. So to remove an electron from half filled orbital, you will have to apply very high amount of energy to convert it into 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. While for oxygen, you can see that if oxygen releases one of its p electron, then what will happen? It will attain the half filled p configuration, 2p3. So which one is more favorable? Oxygen one is more favorable. That means it will require less amount of energy. So delta H1, that is for nitrogen, will be higher than delta H2 for oxygen. So this is the reason why in the graph this sort of an anomaly arises. For nitrogen, the ionization energy value is slightly higher as compared to that of oxygen. Okay, so this is the exact reason, right? So we have seen variation across the period. Now we will discuss variation down the group. Down the group, how will this ionization energy vary down the group? Okay, so here you have to know that for representative elements like for S and P block elements, what will happen? The ionization enthalpy decreases regularly. It will go on decreasing with the increase in atomic number. That means the IE value decreases with increase in atomic number. Okay, down the group the atomic number increases. So the attraction between the nucleus and the outermost electron is getting less, so it will easily release one electron in order to become a cation. So what will happen? Principal quantum number here increases. So distance between nucleus and the outermost shell electron decreases. Okay, as a result, less amount of energy is required to release electron, right? So that is why the trend is decreasing in nature as we move down the group. Okay, so if I represent it graphically, how will it look like? See, here we will take, I'm sorry, it is ionization energy, IE, or you can say IP as well. And this is your, in the x-axis, it is atomic number, that is Z. Okay, if I consider the alkali metal group, that is lithium, if lithium lies here, for sodium it will lie below. For potassium it will lie here. For rubidium it will lie here, and for cesium it will lie. So let me just write down the elements: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, and this is cesium. So we just have to join the line. You just have to join the line. If you join the line, you will get this. So you can see that there is a regular decrease in the ionization energy as we move down the group. Okay. So this is how the trend in the ionization energy look like when you go down the group. Okay. So the simple reason is the principal quantum number increases. The distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell electron is decreasing. Hence, it is very easy to remove an electron from the outermost shell. That means the energy required to remove an electron is very less. That is why the ionization energy or the ionization potential decreases down the group. Okay, so that is all for today. We have discussed some of the properties of elements and their trends we have also discussed across the period and down the group. In the next video, we will again discuss some other properties like electron gain enthalpy, electron affinity or electron affinity, electronegativity, their oxidation states. Okay, these are the things that we also need to study. So I hope all of you have understood the concept of today. Uh, and if you have any questions or any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section, and prepare well for your competitive exams and for your board exams as well. And until then, goodbye and take care. Thank you.